Good morning. You're probably a little confused by the intro music. Happy birthday, happy birthday. It's not my birthday. It's not OJ's birthday, even though he thinks it is every day. It's all of our birthdays. You see, today is the 4-year birthday of Crime Lines and Lies. Can everyone please give themselves a pat on the back? Because I'm going to say you all have made an amazing community, amazing channel. And for 4 years, we have had tears, we've had laughs, we've had hurts, we have had amazing stories where people have been found safe. But y'all are the ones that make it. So let's sing happy birthday to all of us. Yay, I'm playing the birthday music. OJ comes in here thinking it's for him. No, get out of there, fat ass. Kat said that's going on 5 years, Brooks. Just ask Candace. Yeah, she just loves old Candace. If you missed the show yesterday, you missed a good one. Had a show about Summer Wells yesterday. I know some people get a little annoyed with that, but I'm not giving up on Summer or any of these cases that we talk about. Yo, Candace knows how to round it up. Good morning, who knows? Good morning. Now, Pat put something in concerning. Are you okay, Pat? Said something about an alarm going off. Are you okay, baby? Yeah, we're not going to stop. And also, today's Wednesday. We know what we do on Wednesdays. We know we've been called the mean girls, people that are, I can't say you guys, me, cover things biasly, no, we just speak the truth. So anyway, to make them happy, let's first say hi to Mike.
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
It is. And I will tell you guys a little shop secret, okay? A woman that works in our customer service department, her name is Kat OG. Every day is hump day for her because she drives a pink car. We wear pink. Yes, I've got my pink on. I do. I've got pink toenail polish on. I've got pink lip gloss on. I'm pinked out. Who the hell's trying to call me? Kiss my ass. I don't have time for that. I'm trying to do a damn podcast here and people trying to call me. Oh, happy birthday, CLL Patriots forever. Look at you go, Kat. Look at you go. Yes, do not forget today is CLL's birthday. I'd like to meet that bitch, CLL. I hear she's a real see you next Tuesday. Shonda says, Brooks, you need to do a brush up on Idaho and BK. Oh, girl, I'm working on that. There's one thing after another coming out. And the minute I think I have a show ready, something more happens. Thank you so much, Angie, baby. And don't ever apologize for anything. You're amazing. Happy birthday to all of us, Karma. Hey, Karma, did you get that storm that came through last night? Because Fat Frank next door, the one that tried to beat my ass, threw me in the bushes, one of his trees fell in my driveway. Now, I'm not allowed to go on his property. So in Discord, I'm going to put his phone number in there. If anybody wants to call and let him know that he needs to get that tree out of my driveway, pronto. Okay? Pat K, I love you so much. Thank you for the super sticker. You are the best. Let's get to your comments from the last show because y'all had a lot to say. You had a lot to say. All right. Av Grimm 7729 is very upset about the way she believes I'm taking up for Daniel. And not. Not. Matter of fact, it's the other way around. I'm trying to understand why people are taking up for the neglectful parents as opposed to the kids. Blows my mind. So Av Grimm says he never said he passed it. Listen closely. What does he say? Besides, you are taking a possible child predator's word for that. Or do you want to know what the police said? Okay, I checked it again. And here we are. This is what they said. The stepfather of the missing Nova Scotia children, Lilly and Jack Sullivan, reportedly passed a lie detector test. According to reports from the CBC and National Post, he voluntarily took the test in an attempt to clear up speculation surrounding the children's disappearance. The RCMP, I don't live in Canada, but I have figured out that's the police, that's the dudes, that's the women, that's the people that know the shit that's going on. They confirmed that a polygraph test was administered and that the results indicated no involvement for the stepfather in the children's disappearance. That's all I know, dude. That's all I know. I'm not gonna argue with the police. I'm not gonna argue with CBC and National Post. What the hell? And what's it to you, lady? What's it to you? Goodness. Shannon Langley said, in my opinion, maybe mom and stepdad having an affair. That's what Daniel and mom were fighting about. I think she meant mom and the brother. A lot of people have been speculating about that. Tom and Beth Williams. Now, remember, if I showcase your comment, send me an email. It's cll72020@gmail.com. She said, well, I think those kids went missing on the 1st when they were seen with the family. I think they went missing sometime that day or night because she called the school at 6 a.m. in the morning and then reports them missing at 10 a.m. and says they got out the door. And then she leaves after she reported it and all that. So I believe the kids were already gone when she called the school at 6 a.m. because she did not wait till 8 till the school opened to speak with the school. So basically she left a message is what this woman is saying. She said, I think she called the school early so she did not have to speak to them because she knew that they were already gone and she wanted to wait to call the next day to report it. And that's why she called the school early. That's a good thought. That's a good thought. That's a good thought. Maria O'Sullivan said, Daniel's mom and brother are my number one suspects. Brenda said, no medical confirmation that Jack and Lilly were/are autistic. Even teachers have disagreed about them being autistic. I agree. I think that's a big leap to take. It is alarming though when you think about it. Okay, no school on Wednesday. They don't go to school on Thursday, but they're seen out. She calls them out on Friday. They keep sending the kids out of the room so they could sleep in. And we hear different stories. One is the sliding glass door is so quiet you can't hear it, so they didn't know they were outside. Okay, so be it. I'm sick of fighting about the damn door. So one thing in that trailer worked, and that's the door. Okay, I'll give you that one, fine. But when they couldn't hear them anymore, instantly called the authorities. It doesn't make any sense. But they did have a very nice vigil the other day. This was shared on CBC News, Nova Scotia. A lot of people commented that they think it's odd that Malaya was not at the vigil. Well, I mean, if she's got a bunch of people talking shit about her, it may not have been where she wanted to go. Daniel did make a comment that he says he wants people to leave her alone. I don't know who's bothering her. I don't know who's bothering her. I can just imagine people finding her on Facebook and thinking they're going to chat her up. Okay? You know, gonna solve the case, gonna crack the case. But no, nobody needs to bother her. And she should have been at the vigil. Okay?
Tonight is about saying a prayer, and we're going to light the way home for them.
A paper lantern for 4-year-old Jack, another for 6-year-old Lilly, released into the twilight sky as a beacon of hope.
Illuminate the path for Lily and Jack. Guide their footsteps home.
One by one, people placed candles, teddy bears, and angels outside the Stellarton RCMP detachment, a growing memorial as many questions are still unanswered.
Investigators remain committed to exploring all possibilities surrounding the children's disappearance. We want to thank all those who provided tips and information. Please know that we're fully engaged in
I'm going to pause it for a second because I think this is very impressive. Very rarely when a vigil is put together, it's usually community members, a few family members, friends, internet goofballs that think they're part of the family, that type of stuff. You know, kind of like Lana Westbrook in the Michael Vaughn case, or Tony Mathis or Tim Mullen. But they have the police addressing everyone. And I think that is super, super cool to just reaffirm to the community that, hey, we're working on this. We are working on this. It's very rare that you see that.
Investigators remain committed to exploring all possibilities surrounding the children's disappearance. We want to thank all those who provided tips and information. Please know that we're fully engaged in finding out what happened to Lily and Jack.
Some family members of the two children looked on as dozens of community members showed they care.
It's like every parent's worst nightmare. You don't ever want to have to ever go through something like this. And I think it's good to show them that their community is here for support if they need it.
Search and rescue volunteers have scoured a total of 8.5 square kilometers surrounding the children's home. The latest search happened this past.
Okay. Don't laugh at me, but we have different measurements in the US of A. How many miles is a kilometer? I'm trying to put this together in my head, how far they've actually searched out. I don't doubt them. I'm not going to say it's not enough. But before I have to go and do some Google research, does anyone happen to know off the top of their head how many miles a kilometer is? Yonka don't fucking know. Look at Yonka. She's like, heck if I know. Debbie said, Daniel supplies the polygraph himself. I wonder who took it. Who took it, I wonder. The police. Oh, look at everybody go. 2.2 kilometers is a mile. Fun to Ski said it's 2.5. Okay, so it's a lot of stuff. A lot. Okay, Kat asked Alexa. I'm not going to argue with Alexa.
A total of 8.5 square kilometers surrounding the children's home. The latest search happened this past weekend when crews focused on a pipeline trail where a boot print was previously found. Tell me what that's been like living here in this community and having to watch this unfold day after day.
It's hard because with Facebook, you're on Facebook every morning, check and see if there's an update. You go to the RCMP site to see if there's an update, and then you hear about searches. And your heart just breaks every time because you pray that today will be the day that they bring them home.
Angela McIver, CBC News, Stellarton.
Sure is heartbreaking. And the name of today's show is Lily and Jack Do Not Deserve This. And I still need to know the proper spelling of her name. Is it Lily or Lilly? Because I see it printed differently in different articles. But we have solved the case about kilometers versus miles. Okay, so I'm good there. Very nice that they did this vigil for the kids. And again, I mean, the name of the show is These Kids Don't Deserve This, because the infighting with the family, is not going to get anything done. Okay? The crazy shit that people are putting in these Facebook groups and Twitter and everything isn't going to help them at all. And people that want to come in and watch the replay and leave me comments saying I'm taking up for Daniel, that's not going to help anything either. Deep breath. Deep breath. Here's more about the vigil.
What, dear? What?
What could I do?
A rainbow, my favorite.
Somebody got.
Has anyone, asking my friends here, and don't forget today is our birthday, okay? Today's our 4th birthday. Crime Lines and Lies, the channel. Today is our 4th birthday. Has anyone here changed their opinion or ever had an opinion, let me put it that way, about Daniel? Matter of fact, I'm going to put the link up because it seems to me that he's doing the most advocating. He's at the vigil. He's lighting the lanterns. He's talking to the police. He wanted to take a polygraph. I know some people say you're talking about a child predator. I don't know, dude. I don't know because I'm not part of the investigation. They don't like to tell me things like that. Pat K said, yes, I have sorta. Nothing's adding up. And he's a little too supportive for me to think that he really did something to those kids. Oh, Nene said she hadn't.
On the bamboo wire. When the air came out, they said, that hot air is all. There we go. Yeah. Good job. That one's some ripped, so we gotta. Is that the other one?
There we go. There, she's away now.
Woo!
Up, lift, lift. There it's going. There it's going. There.
Don't hit the wires. It's going.
Oh. That's going the same direction. Yeah.
Oh, don't hit the tree. Don't hit the tree.
So sad. Sud said the fastest rumor is that the kids are on the reservation with the mom. Are they not allowed to search there? I don't know. Cat OG said, in my opinion, only both grandmothers are sus AF. Yeah. Melanie, I have not seen this video, said the birthday video of Lilly screaming top of her lungs made me look at Daniel sideways. It looked like his soul left his body when she screamed like that, in my opinion. Yeah, what could have been going on? But I have not seen the video. Please send it to me. Please send it to me. All right, so we're going to talk about the wandering off theory scenario. In British Columbia, a little girl was reunited with her family when she did get lost in the woods. Now, they have some crazy terrain as well. Some people might say I'm comparing apples to oranges, but we have covered a lot of cases in the last 4 years plus because we had a bunch of Facebook groups. When children wander off and there is a scaled search, grid search, helicopters, drones, dogs, the whole 9 yards, they are found. They are found pretty quickly. And this happened in British Columbia a few weeks ago.
We begin with breaking news and the incredible story of a 7-year-old girl who survived a night in the dense woods of Chilliwack. Taya Fast joins us now with the latest. And Taya, we're so happy to hear that Lilly Corsol has just been reunited with her family.
Yes, Chris, it really is the best outcome and one we were all hoping for today. And yes, as you mentioned, Lilly was just reunited with her family only moments ago.
Nanny's right here. Did you hear Nanny? I love you.
Hi, Mommy.
Give me your hand.
I went to the toilet with the and my sister got off.
It's okay.
It's okay.
They found the little baby in the woods. She had to have been so scared. She had to have been so scared. But they found her. She's home safe. Lori Green said, I'm not going by so-called family members. They're going to be biased and defend their own. Damn right they will. Oh, you better believe it. But this is a miracle right here. So how come there hasn't been a miracle for Jack and Lilly? Because they're not in those woods. Okay? If they only ventured out and had a couple of hours on law enforcement, they would have found them, my friends.
Nanny, we can put off again.
Oh, get that fixed for you, Lilly. We'll need to get some new shoes.
Yeah, Nanny, I'm okay, Nan.
Are you?
Yeah, because Nan, I went for the shoot and rescue people.
I know.
Because I was waiting until I heard footsteps. Because I went with the children rescue people.
Look who else is
And
here.
guess what?
What?
I was on the airplane.
You're on the helicopter.
Yes, but I was on the outside.
I know we saw you. I knew you'd love it. Look who else is here. Your Auntie Tara. I love you.
We know some family traveled to Chilliwack today to help with the search and to be there to welcome Lilly home. She was rescued by helicopter and flown nearby and then driven down by search and rescue crews to her family. Now, the search started last night, but really ramped up today with crews working through that heavily wooded area near Lilly's home. A huge sigh of relief swept through this rural Chilliwack neighborhood Friday afternoon. 7-year-old Lilly Corsol was found safe nearly 24 hours after vanishing in the woods.
24 hours later, they found her, and she's so cute. I was in a helicopter. And she's hungry and all that stuff. That's what happens. So what about Lilly Sullivan and Jack Sullivan? It's not like they haven't been looking. And it seems like they're still very laser focused on where the footprint was found. Some people do their own speculation and say the footprint was planted and stuff like that. I don't know. But that's where their investigation seems to be zeroed around.
I feel so happy that I'm getting my little Lilly back. I can hardly wait to see her.
Lilly went missing Thursday evening after she followed her neighbor's dogs into the heavily wooded area near her home.
I guess the dog came and told my mom that they took off in the bush and the dogs came back and Lilly didn't.
The search ramped up during the day with numerous search and rescue crews along with officers from across the Lower Mainland. Police deployed all resources available, including a helicopter, canine, and drones to help search the extremely difficult terrain near Lilly's home.
There are a number of outside resources, such as our BC Conservation Service, Department of Fisheries and Oceans, our TAC Troop, E-Division Emergency Response Team, and RCMP Air Services.
And Lilly was found Friday evening far from her home in the forest.
She's in good health as far as we can tell. Search and rescue has actually located her and walking her out. Obviously, we'll have her medically checked and cleared, but it sounds like she's in good shape and has the ability to walk out under her own power.
The best possible outcome after a terrifying night in the woods.
We're going to be both happy now to see each other. And I can hardly wait. I can hardly wait.
As mentioned, Lilly will be looked at by emergency crews to ensure that she is healthy. But again, a miraculous end to a long night in the woods for little Lilly. Chris?
Taya, so many people so thankful that it ended this way.
Virginia Woolf, what a great comment. These rescuers must be so happy when they save a baby. Isn't that what it's about? Isn't that what they signed up for? That they peace and order, law and order, making sure people get home safely, that type of thing. And of course, you throw out some traffic tickets and shit like that, catch people, coming out of the bar, they've been sitting there too long. They do that stuff too. But we forget about that. And that video gave me chills. I do have another announcement that's off topic. Today is National Hug Your Cat Day, June 4th, 2025. So for all of you cat daddies and cat mamas in here, you have to take extra special care of your cat today. For some reason, OJ seems to think this is a thing every day. However, we shall see how the day works out for him. I thought he did pretty good yesterday when he hogged down a bunch of smoked salmon. All right, Melanie sent me the video. Let's see. This is from Evil Exists. He clipped it, I'm assuming, off Facebook.
Lilly and Jack Sullivan are still missing, and the search for them is underway. No one is giving up, and the truth shall come to light. Did they really walk out that back door? There are a number of red flags in the case from the mother and stepfather, and many believe that their versions are too rehearsed. Well, the mother has deleted her Facebook page, but we know that once things are put out on the internet, they are shared and screen recorded, especially in cases like this. Someone on Facebook screen grabbed this video before the mother's Facebook page was deleted.
Okay, a lot of people say to adjust your volume. This is the first time I'm seeing it. Remember, we do a live show. Walking Dead said, did you know yesterday was National Egg Day? I don't keep up with all the national whatever days since I'm not friends with old Bob Green anymore. He used to put a post up every day saying it's National Pop-Tart Day. What's your favorite flavor of Pop-Tart? Or it's National Meringue Day. Do you like meringue on your pie? So I'm not up on these things unless people tell me, and he got mad at me. So, that happens. But that's the only way I could keep up.
It shows little Jack's second birthday, and something that many online users are now discussing is the look of the stepfather. Lilly starts screaming at the beginning of the video, and he just keeps staring at her. I won't say more, take a look for yourself.
Come on. Liam, come sing.
I got him.
Wait, my birthday. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Lily, stop, honey.
Blow it, go.
Oh!
Yeah, Daniel seems pretty annoyed with that screeching scream. It seems like she's just excited about the birthday party to me. And he needs to not wear sweatpants because, I mean, if you can see in the photo here where I paused it, and I really didn't mean to, you can see his root. Okay? So probably just the screaming was getting on his nerves.
Lily just is. Come on. Liam, come sing. I got him.
What? My birthday.
Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Lily, stop, honey.
Blow it, go.
Oh!
Yay!
Yay!
Everybody's away.
Happy birthday!
Say happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. Lily just is.
Fun to Ski said, so how did the neighborhood not know that the children lived at the house? That is a good question. I don't know how often they get out and drive around and frequent and talk to each other, but that is a good question. A lot of people seem to be kind of shocked that kids were living there. I would be shocked too, considering the condition of the house. Lori said she's a new subscriber. Everybody take a minute to welcome Lori and remind her that we are live and shit every morning at 9 a.m. Central. Welcome, welcome, Lori. We wear pink on Wednesdays. You don't have to wear pink. You can just say you do, because sometimes secret, I forget and I say, oh yeah, I got pink somewhere on me. So we know that Lily's got a set of lungs on her. She knows how to scream, obviously. She's definitely verbal. Some people are trying to go with the word of the day, the catchword, the autism thing. She's probably nonverbal. Well, she's not. So you're telling me that when they get lost in the woods, she didn't scream looking for help? And that sound would carry. But it seems like at the birthday party, kids are just doing what kids do. I really don't see that these kids are malnourished, beaten on. I mean, the neglectfulness is from being lazy parents. Okay, they really are. Look at that place. Old boy goes to work once a week, and he can't clean that place up once a week. And how can things at the sawmill be so slow when article after article after article after article after article has said that the terrain is horrible because of Hurricane Fiona in 2022. This is 2025. That's a lot of work, my friends. That's a lot of work. That'd be like a 24/7 operation cleaning that up. But on the day they went missing, he didn't go to work because he said work was slow. I don't know about you all, but when I go to work, I like work to be slow. I don't want more shit to do. But again, the birthday party just seemed like normal. We know that Lily is verbal, for sure. She's got a personality. She's got an attitude, all that stuff. Gorgeous little girl. They both are. So out in the woods, that screen would have carried. Now, what is not normal for a parent is this.
As time goes by in the case of missing siblings, Jack and Lilly Sullivan, the stepfather seems to be the only one keeping the case out in the public eye. He has offered his phone and laptop to police, wants to take a polygraph and drug test, and says if the kids are not found, then he will be searching for them for his entire life. That comment got me. I'm not saying he is innocent or that I totally believe him, but at this point, he is looking more innocent than the mother. Apparently the mother was told not to speak to the media. Wasn't Daniel told the same thing? Many of you agree that as a parent of missing children, nothing would stop you from speaking out, spreading awareness, and keeping the...
All right, I heard a little rumor on Facebook. You know, I believe everything I read on the internet. Remember the whole story? It's really not a story, it's the truth. Where Malaya was thrown off the property. Okay? Y'all remember that? Remember that story? Well, someone that lives in the area was posting in the uncensored Facebook group, which I can't post in there. It's uncensored, but I don't know why I can't. Everyone's always hating on me. All right, so you remember this. Daniel addressed the children's mother's departure, stating she did not leave voluntarily, but was forced off the property by his mother. He said that following the children's disappearance, she relocated to stay with family in another part of the province and has since blocked him on social media. According to Daniel, tensions flared between the families on the day of the disappearance, leading to a confrontation in the yard. My mother had to ask some people to leave the property because they were accusing me of being involved. This is what was said, okay? This is what was said by Daniel. So why did his mom say, you all have to be away from here? What this woman says makes sense. It's because the investigators that were there talking to them did not want Daniel and Malaya to speak to each other. They wanted them separated. And that is so common in cases where things aren't adding up. So just when I'm sitting there saying, man, that grandma's a real bitch, throwing her out, it actually makes more sense now. The police are saying, you all can't even be talking. I don't need any more problems. You get your ass off my property. You tell me what you think.
Face and story of your missing children out there. After reading what took place on May 3rd, we have to ask ourselves what is really going on with the mother. Is she consumed by guilt? On May 3rd, the mother and stepfather attended a briefing at the search and rescue headquarters on nearby Lansdowne Station Road. Daniel said the mother left midway through the update to sit in the back of an ambulance. She then left with her mother, and Daniel never saw her since. This is also the time she blocked him on social media. To me, it's clear that she is trying to do everything in her power to distance herself from the stepfather. I can't help but wonder if she is trying to set the stage for what police might find later on in the case. Is she getting ready to push the blame completely on Daniel? It's also interesting how her family immediately blamed Daniel for what happened when the mother was in the house too. They were apparently together in the room, so why did they blame him? I believe that she knows more than she is saying. There's a reason she is staying so quiet, and I don't buy it's because the police told her to stay silent. It would be bizarre that the police would tell the mother of missing children to not raise awareness for them by speaking out to the media. Furthermore, it is a huge red flag that she believes they have been abducted, but never once pleaded for their safe return. If that is not suspicious, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, she walked straight out of the rescue briefing. Nobody would think anything about her sitting there crying and wailing and begging for her kids' return. Nobody would think anything about that. But just to not want to be there, that's a bad look, dudes. That is a bad look. All right, so let's talk. This is from Old Untold Crimes and Affairs. Ooh. It says I'm not subscribed. See, that's the reason that I have to put things up all the time saying, you know, you have to be a subscriber. YouTube will unsubscribe people. YouTube will. But this is really interesting. And it's about the pipeline, and we're back to the boot print. Again, some people say they believe that that print was planted. Maybe so, but what are the odds of planting a boot print unless you directly show it to the police and say, oh, look right there, what I found? Well, they found it, and what are the odds in those woods of actually finding it? Seems to me there's a little more to it.
Marking grounds covered in the search for 6-year-old Lilly and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan. The siblings have been missing from their Pictou County home since May 2nd. This weekend, searchers were back looking for some sign of the children, covering more ground and focusing on Gairloch Road near their home.
There was a fewer the higher probability areas around waterways and stuff like that we put teams back in around.
In the shadow of Nova Scotia's nearline pipeline trail, a single footprint waits. Small, fleeting, ignored for weeks. On May 2nd,
Sparrow, thank you. Sparrow said, wouldn't there be adult shoe or boot prints around the planted one if someone went out to do that? Or were none found? Exactly. But they found one boot print. One. They don't mention any others. And one would imagine, for sure.
2025, 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack vanished from their Gairloch Road trailer, their pink and dinosaur boots gone. For 30 days, Lansdowne Station has clung to hope, but on May 31st, the RCMP returned to that footprint, scouring the pipeline's edge. Why now? What deadly secret does it hold? A new Glasgow sighting, unshared trail cams, a stepfather's unverified polygraph, a mother's chilling silence. Every clue points to a truth buried where no one dared look. In cases like these, the smallest mark can scream the loudest lie. This footprint isn't just a clue. It's a confession waiting to break. Where does the trail begin? Dawn on May 2nd, 2025, was like any other in Lansdowne Station, until it wasn't. At 10 a.m., a 911 call shattered the quiet. Lilly Sullivan, 6, and Jack, 4, were gone. Their trailer's sliding door hung open. No signs of a struggle, just absence. Lily's pink boots, strawberry backpack, and Jack's blue dinosaur boots, missing. Their mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, told police she heard them playing. Then silence. Within hours, 160 volunteers, K9s, drones, and helicopters swept 5.5 square kilometers of hurricane-scarred woods, steep ravines, tangled roots, no trace. A footprint near Lansdowne Lake, spotted May 3rd, sparked hope, but it led nowhere. By May 7th, the RCMP scaled back, their words grim. Survival seemed unlikely. For investigators, what's missing often speaks louder than what's found. Why no scent? Why no debris? Was the forest hiding them? Or something else? The empty trail suggests the kids never wandered far, or never wandered at all. A forgotten clue resurfaces. On May 31st, 2025, the Nearline Pipeline Trail, a narrow, brush-choked corridor near Gairloch Road, came alive again. Over 115 volunteers joined the RCMP, zeroing in on a footprint found May 3rd, dismissed weeks ago. Why return now? The RCMP cites new leads, but shares nothing more. That print, near Lansdowne Lake and the pipeline, didn't match Lily's pink boots or Jack's dinosaur ones. Was it theirs? A stranger's? Or a red herring? The pipeline's seclusion, accessible yet hidden, makes it a perfect stage for secrets. Lost person data shows 95% of kids aged 4 to 6 are found within 6.5 kilometers. Yet Lilly and Jack vanished beyond this radius. Or did they? The RCMP's delay raises alarms. If the footprint mattered, why wait 28 days? When mysteries deepen, timing isn't just evidence, it's intent. The pipeline footprint whispers a truth the RCMP ignored too long. Another sighting shifts the puzzle.
Based on details gathered so far, we have confirmed that Lily and Jack were observed in public with family members on the afternoon of May 1st.
On May 28th, the RCMP dropped a bombshell. Lily and Jack were...
Now, he's talking about statistics, okay? Statistics. When a child wanders away from their house, gets lost in the woods, gets turned around on their bike, someone's going to find them, okay? Someone's going to find them. And the average is, they said like what, 6.9 kilometers, something like that. I'm trying to do the math in my head. Anyway, they will find them, okay? Why are we talking about Casey Kasem? What's going on? I used to love America's Top 40. So let me ask you guys, do you think that they're truly out in those woods and just no one can find them? You know, we've had that argument for almost 4 years about Summer Wells. What are we gifting memberships? How'd I miss that? Look at that. Pat K, I'm telling you, y'all, what a birthday. We're having a birthday today. Wimbles, thank you so much for the super sticker. Woo. The wandering off thing was my very first thing that I thought. And we're over a month, my friends. We're over a month. Not a trace of a backpack, not a trace of a boot, not a trace of a pull-up. God forbid I say diaper again. Nothing.
Were seen alive on May 1st, 3:17 p.m. in New Glasgow, Nova Scotia, 30 kilometers from Lansdowne, with family members. Surveillance captured them, but the RCMP won't name the location, companions, or the children's state. Were they healthy, distressed, or simply present? This sighting, the last verified, shrinks the disappearance window to 19 hours, rewriting an earlier April the 29th timeline. Why the secrecy? The RCMP's collected hours of video from Gairloch and New Glasgow, yet they plea for dash cam footage, April 28th to May 2nd. If the kids were in public, why no Amber Alert? In true crime, withheld details aren't protection. They're leverage. Was the sighting a lead or a diversion? The 24 hours that followed are a black hole, swallowing the truth of what happened next. The New Glasgow sighting is a clue, or a carefully placed lie. Technology holds the key. In missing persons cases, phones don't just connect, they confess. From April 28th to May 2nd, the RCMP dissected the Sullivan family's digital footprint.
Ooh, I love that. I'm going to write that down and, of course, give credit to this channel. Phones don't just connect, they confess. For those of you that are new here, have you seen our coverage of the Madeline Soto case? Yeah, didn't have to ask too many questions once they started going through the digitals. Phones don't connect, they confess. And again, if anything ever happened around me, I would be up shit creek without a paddle, because you can't believe the shit that I look up on my computer.
GPS coordinates, call logs, social media, every ping a potential witness. Who did they contact? Where did they drive? What did they search? By May 15th, 355 tips and 50 interviews painted a partial picture. But the RCMP guards the details like a vault. Malahia Brooks Murray's phone, Daniel Martell's, each holds a timeline, yet neither has spoken publicly about it. In 2024, digital forensics solved 60% of missing persons cases in Canada. Why not here? The RCMP's silence suggests the data points somewhere uncomfortable, perhaps to the pipeline or closer to home.
I need more information on this pipeline. Is there anyone local in here that can explain it to me? Because when they did that search over last weekend, the boot print, the pipeline, I got chills. That does not sound good. And pipelines are used for a lot of different things. So what is up with the pipeline?
For investigators, what's deleted is often what matters most. The phones know more than the RCMP will say. A neighbor's cameras watch in silence. On May 20th, Melissa Scott, a neighbor 8 kilometers from Gairloch Road, handed the RCMP 5 days of footage from 7 trail cameras, some in woods, one on her driveway, near the pipeline corridor. She saw nothing unusual, but the
people are asking about the party. Define a party. We went back and forth with this in the Kylie Rodney case. Okay. Define a party, because some people are like, that's not a party. That's only a few people there. Listen, I can have a few friends over and just call it a party. Okay. I can have Linda over and I'll say I'm having a party. So Daniel, his statement was, oh, there was no drug party. Well, no shit, you're going to say that, dude. No shit, you're going to say that. You'd be crazy to be like, oh, yeah, we had a big old party and everybody was smoking the crank and getting crunk, you know? It could just be a few people sitting around drinking beers, man. It can be sloppy Joe night. Who knows? But he's not going to admit to that. And too many people have come forward saying there was a lot of cars there.
The RCMP's major crime unit, active since May 3rd, wanted it all. Why footage predating the May 1st sighting? Are they tracing a vehicle, a shadow, or the footprints maker? The pipeline's proximity to train tracks and clearings makes it a smuggler's dream, or a criminal's grave. The RCMP won't reveal what they found. When mysteries deepen, cameras don't lie, but people do. Could these frames hold the moment Lilly and Jack's trail went cold? The trail cams could expose a secret the pipeline's been guarding. Why won't they act?
Family.
The last of RCMP in the area that I've seen, they were at Lansdowne Lake, and they told me that they scoured the lake, divers, and sonared the lake, and there's no evidence at all. If they were in this area, would have found them. My family.
On May 3rd, the RCMP declared no abduction, just 24 hours after Lilly.
Okay. They said no abduction, basically a day after they disappeared. They've scoured the woods, okay? It's not like they're not looking. So what is it? Do some deductive reasoning. 2 kids is 4 feet. There's one footprint. We know in the case of Sebastian Rogers, the glasses that look just like Sebastian's were planted. Okay. We know in the case of Summer Wells, the one shoe print that was found in August and she went missing in June was planted. Okay. It just happened to be found by Jody Sue Brown. So I don't know. And how the grandma didn't hear anything until Daniel came out and was screaming for the kids makes no sense to me. So she wakes up to baby boy's voice, but doesn't hear the kids out playing? Make it make sense.
Lee and Jack vanished. They issued a vulnerable persons alert, not an Amber Alert, claiming no foul play. Yet the May 1st New Glasgow sighting proved the kids were mobile. Why not alert Nova Scotia? Amber Alerts resolve 85% of abduction cases in Canada. The RCMP's stance, reiterated May 15th, clashes with their major crime unit's involvement since May 3rd. In cases like these, early decisions shape outcomes. Was this caution or a misstep? The community's vigils, with candles and prayers, scream for action. A missed alert could mean a missed chance to bring Lilly and Jack home. The absent Amber Alert is a wound that won't heal. A polygraph stirs suspicion. Daniel Martel, Lilly and Jack's stepfather, told reporters he took a polygraph test and passed, offering to prove his innocence. In some interviews, possibly early ones, he appeared to tear up, his voice breaking as he spoke of hope. Yet, the RCMP, leading the investigation, won't confirm the test happened. No results, no statement, no proof. Polygraphs are double-edged. Ted Bundy passed one, so did Gary Ridgway. They measure stress, not truth, and skilled liars don't flinch. Was Daniel's test real, conducted by police, or a private stunt to sway perception? His demeanor, often calm.
Well, they could figure that out real quick. Letitia Stout tried to do her own polygraph test. If you're on the up and up with the case of Gannon Stout, Letitia tried to do her own. Okay, so if the police say, yeah, the test he took says absolutely no involvement, they aren't saying that they administered the test. And who the hell has to beg for a damn lie detector test? They aren't worth shit anyway. But no, Letitia, that murdered Gannon Stout, she was trying to find some online company to give her a lie detector test. Then she got mad because they wouldn't send her money back, because they figured out real quick she was looking to be deceptive. So they can figure that out real quick. Again, the digital footprints, he would have to use some form of communication to set one up himself. If not, then it was administered there and they said no involvement.
Focused on his story, contrasts with grieving parents in cleared cases, like Seth Rogers, whose raw pain was undeniable.
Oh, God. Did he really bring up Seth Rogers? Man. Man. You know, I just don't like Seth being used as the measuring stick, the yardstick for other missing parents. You ever heard of some people named Tyler and Brandy Vaughn? That is a true abduction case. True abduction.
Even with tears, Daniel's narrative feels rehearsed, a tale to control. Why no RCMP backing? In missing persons cases, silence isn't clearance, it's a shadow. Daniel's polygraph is either a shield or a smokescreen. A mother's absence speaks louder. On May 3rd, one day after her children vanished, Malehia Brooks Murray left Lansdowne Station with her infant, severing ties with Daniel Martel. She blocked him online, hired a lawyer, and vanished from public view.
I need to know more about this lawyer. And you all are the eyes and ears. Why exactly did she get an attorney? Is she worried about being accused? Is she worried about losing Meadow? Is she worried about losing Jack and Lilly when they're found? What on earth did she go get a lawyer for? Because when a parent of a missing child lawyers up, I'm just telling you, it doesn't look good. And even if it's through the reservation, is this a lawyer that's going to talk on behalf of her? There's a lot of questions right there. Is he going to be the Tony Mathis? Is he the media manager for Malaya?
Please, no vigils, no words. For investigators, a parent's silence is a signal. The RCMP says she's cooperating privately, but her absence screams louder. Why flee? Was it grief, fear, or guilt? In cleared cases, parents like Madeleine McCann's mother begged for help, raw and relentless. Malahia's retreat, paired with digital silence, suggests a fracture within the family or with the truth. Did she see something in that trailer? When mysteries deepen, those who run often carry the heaviest secrets. Malahia's silence isn't escape, it's a clue. The community refuses to forget.
Since May 2nd, when Lilly and Jack went missing, people here in Pictou County are still struggling to understand what happened and why there are still no answers.
Every day, almost, I go by the RCMP, and it's just so tragic, just so tragic. You know, I just feel so bad for their whole family. I'm hoping that they find them.
It just doesn't look good, but I hope I'm wrong.
The warden of Pictou County says many people are on edge and children are worried about playing outside.
Oh, I think it's mostly a mood of anxiety, maybe, and frustration. They too can't believe that there's not an answer by this long and this many people looking.
Lansdowne Station refuses to let Lilly and Jack fade. On May 31st, 115 volunteers scoured the pipeline trail, chasing a footprints promise. Vigils light the nights, with giraffes for Lilly, dinosaurs for Jack, at Stellarton's memorial. Over 10,000 search hours, police received over 800 tips, yet no answers. The RCMP's silence on trail cams, digital data, the pipeline, fuels anger. Pictou's warden, Robert Bowen, voiced it. Families are sleepless, not just from grief, but betrayal. In a case like this, communities don't just mourn, they demand. Why no police? Why now? The pipeline's shadows hold something. Lily's sparkles, Jack's bugs, or a darker secret. The community's fight is the last light in this darkness. One call could end the nightmare. 30 days after Lilly and Jack vanished, a footprint near the Nearline pipeline begs for answers. The police's silence on New Glasgow, trail cams, polygraphs, and hides a secret. Lily's giraffes, Jack's dinosaurs, deserve justice. Share this video to break the silence. Got dashcam or trail footage from Gairloch Road or New Glasgow, April 28th to May 2nd, 2025? Call Northeast Nova Scotia at 902-896-5060 or Pictou County District at 902-485-4333. Anonymous tips. Nova Scotia, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-22-TIPS or crimestoppers.ns.ca. In a case like this, one voice can shatter the shadows. Bring Lilly and Jack home.
So, what do you think? Do you think it's sketchy on stepdad, sketchy on mom, sketchy on grandma, sketchy on uncle? Because I'm not going to entertain a conversation that the police are corrupt and they just don't want to find these kids. I hate that shit. You want to see a real corruption case? Look at my playlist for Alana Raffield. That's true corruption. And the state of Oklahoma should be ashamed of themselves. They are truly trying to find them. Truly trying to find them. All right, I'm going to put the link in and see if anybody wants to come up and have a visit with me. Pat has never weighed in on this case publicly, just on the phone with me, and she loves when I call. My girl Ilyanka, I would love to hear from her. Kat, Suds, you live there. So while you guys are figuring out if you're going to come up or not, let's look at this. Oh, do my eyes deceive me? Look who is here. I want everyone to light the chat up. I'm going to start hashtag WWPD, also known as Yoda. Woo!
Morning, everyone.
Good morning, everyone is so excited. Look at all the exclamation marks, clap marks.
Yeah.
Yay, WWPD. I don't get that reaction when I come on, but here you are. All right, girlfriend, shop talk. What do you think's going on?
Well, I haven't weighed in because I'm just still so shocked. I just can't see where they could have walked away and 160 trained searchers, dogs, helicopter with thermal. I think they would have found them.
Yep.
So, and at the first interviews of the mother and the stepdad.
Yes.
Like, I understand people are nervous and maybe they were scripted. Maybe someone helped the mother say what she said. It's just so hard for me to believe a parent would do this. I know people say I live in a bubble, but I just can't believe it.
It's really hard to believe. And what I have noticed in like the different Facebook groups where I read the comments and stuff, there is a lot of Canadians, real Canadians, like you're a real Canadian, right, Pat?
Yes, yeah.
And they can't believe something like that would happen and parents would be involved. Now, in America, the minute I hear something, I'm like, oh, fuck. I mean, and I will look at the state and I'll look at the county they're in. I'm like, yeah, I can see that one. But everyone is so shocked and they're just like this. I just wish I could see more people standing with the police like you do.
Well, I back the blue all the way because, if we didn't, then we have no hope left.
Exactly.
And I don't believe 160 searchers are covering up anything. So saying that it's a cover up, like, that's just ridiculous. So, those people can go to a channel that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, Brooks, but that's how I feel.
Right. I agree with you. They can go Bullhorn Betty. They can sit there and talk about police corruption. You're telling me all these people overlooked a child?
That's right. And I was chatting with someone in chat a few minutes ago. I can't remember who it was. Maybe V. And she was saying the cameras on the road. So they ruled out abduction really quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying, okay, that makes sense because it is one long road. It's a number 2 highway. It's not the number 1 highway that goes across Canada, but it's, say, a smaller one. So they've ruled out abduction. I don't really think someone could have walked through the woods and grabbed 2 kids. Like, that doesn't make sense. So I have my hands up in the air right now. It's like, I have to believe someone had to have taken them then, because they would have found them in the woods.
Yeah.
So it's not either someone took them or, I don't know. Like, someone said, well, maybe they were hidden in the trunk of a car. Okay, yes. But they would have known all the cars that stopped at that house. There was, I believe, trail cam footage, like the first couple days it came out, that they know every car that was on that road. So, and I'm sure they've checked them all. Although I know the RCMP aren't very forthcoming, like the police in Florida, that guy that gets up there and talks, like, he's great.
Oh yeah,
I
Grady
wish
does.
yes, yeah,
He tells it all, but he tells it all when it's done.
yes.
He doesn't
And
keep people updated on an active investigation.
no. And the RCMP, like you don't, it's rare that you see them come on and talk. Now I'm not in any Facebook groups. I'm not in any of the other channels, like listening to the gossip. I'd rather wait for a statement to come out from the police. Although it is nice to talk about it, have a place here to talk about it because we're so perplexed. Like, what the F happened to these children?
Yeah, where could they be? And we're not talking about one child that got lost. We're talking about two.
Exactly.
In a very unusual week. The one day a week Daniel has to go to work. It's too slow. He doesn't go to work. The kids don't have school on Wednesday. That's not unusual because all the kids were called out of school. Then you have Thursday and Friday, they don't go to school. She calls the school at 6 a.m. and then they're missing at 10. That does not make any sense.
That doesn't make sense. But the 6 a.m. phone call, where did that come from?
CBC, and that's the reason that woman left that comment for me. And she said, so she called at 6 a.m. because she didn't want to talk to anyone. Now, mind you, that's her opinion. All right, I got Suds backstage. Let's see what he thinks. Hey, Suds, what do you think about this?
Hey, Brooks. How's everybody doing?
Pretty good, my friend.
Sorry, what was the question?
Good old Suds.
I had two windows open, so it was double echoing, and I had to quickly go and shut one down.
What
do you think?
Yeah, what do you think's going on here?
Well, I got to tell you that rumor that actually makes perfect sense, where it was orchestrated by Malea's mother to get her out of that situation, because from what I hear, she's very controlling. And if Malaya was planning on leaving him, I mean, it's not the best way, but it makes perfect sense, right? The kids are gone. If they're on that reservation with mom, you're never going to find them.
And that is a big rumor that she was done with Daniel, done with his mom, done with the brother, done living in that dump, and that she didn't want to be there anymore. But Daniel claims to have seen the kids that morning.
Yeah, well, maybe he thought he heard.
Yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean taken thereafter,
Now that would be a good way to get her off the property, not pretending the kids are gone or anything, but yes, I could see the people at the reservation, if she is part of the reserve, helping her. But the RCMP would know then whether they had the kids. Like, I don't really think the reservation's going to hide two kids in a manhunt, or a hunt for them that's gone across Canada. So I don't really think the reservation people would do that. What do you think, Seth?
I don't know.
You?
I don't know. I mean, I'm telling you, they stick up for their own people, especially how poorly the Indigenous people are treated in this country. We have a stretch of highway out west called the Highway of Tears, where I think it was something like 200 Indigenous women have been abducted over the years, and it's like nothing, So
we have those signs right here. I always wondered what they meant. We have them right here on the 401.
Oh yeah, and the Trans-Canada Highway is not that far from where they lived. So again, either way, if they're on the reservation or if someone managed to get to the highway, they're gone. I don't mean like unalived. I just mean you're never going to find them.
Yeah. I don't. But if they were at the reservation and they were hiding them, that would make the reservation people look absolutely horrible when it comes to light. So I don't think they would do that. They've got things going on right now in Ontario. Apparently some bill passed last night at 12:01. And that, yes, the Indigenous people are very upset about that, but that's Ontario. and each reservation is different. You know what I mean? I don't really think they would hide them. I just can't believe they would do that.
Well, there's got to be someone higher that could make people talk, because we have reservations here. There's sovereign nations here in Oklahoma. Arizona has a lot. New Mexico has a lot. But the FBI can go in there. It is a lot more red tape. It is a lot more with the McGurton law in America. It is a lot more. Because that shit will go to the Supreme Court if something happens on a reservation and someone's overstepped their bounds. So I don't know what works in Canada. I need that education.
I don't really know either. I know there's always been, especially out east, there's always been protests and this and that. Rightly so. They were treated horrible. It's it's part of our history. And I'm sure it's still going on. I'm not saying it isn't, but I just can't believe they would hide 2 kids. Not when this is so highly publicized.
What would be the reason to hide them? It's not like Daniel would want to keep them. If Malaya and if the mom is so controlling, she'd been living in that dump for 3 years. The mom didn't care before. Grandma didn't care before. So what would be the reason to hide the kids unless they're trying to set Daniel up for something? He has no right to those kids. They're not his kids.
I know.
And even he said himself that they blamed him for the kids missing.
Yeah, flat out on Friday. And they got into it, and she got chucked on May 3rd. And I do believe what that woman said, that the police didn't want Daniel and Malaya talking to each other. Well, you see what happens. Her mom gets her, takes her back to her house. She blocks him on social media, says, I'm single. And there you go. And it's very common for police, maybe not in Afghanistan, but they'll say, no one is talking to each other. I don't want everyone to develop a story because it makes it impossible to figure out what really happened. Because Daniel and Malaya's stories are very different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and the chief's brother is the lawyer, apparently.
And that's okay. I like if they were on the reservation, you're right, Brooke. There's no reason to hide them because she's protected there.
Yeah.
It's a massive community of people that are all going to be behind her. So I don't think they're hidden.
And these are her children. She's not kidnapping anyone. All she has to say is, I took my children. I have my children. I left with my mom. I don't want to be around Dirtbag anymore. I don't be around his crazy mama. I don't want to be around there anymore. No one's going to say anything, but they are missing.
Yeah, people do stupid things. Or just don't make sense, right? Maybe she felt too pressured. And to go back to that point where you say why it's national coverage, that's probably why, where she's just like totally freaked out. And now she's all embarrassed or whatever, that you can kind of look at it on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? I don't understand. Like when Daniel keeps saying the RCMP is he's talking like they're contacting him. My question is, why are they contacting him? They're not even his kids, like legally. Really? So I don't really believe they're contacting him. I think he's just going by the news things.
No, didn't they say there was a mediator between the two?
I don't know. I could have missed that. As I say, I'm only on Brooks's channel and 2 others, and that's it.
Yeah, so I believe they said that they have someone, so they don't talk to each other, so they have some sort of mediator.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
But she's not talking.
So Suds, if they aren't hiding on the reservation, what are your other theories?
There's a new form of human evolution where these kids have got some sort of power where they can manifest into another dimension or different alternate reality. And vanish like a fart in the wind,
Oh, like yeah, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. There you go. They
Well, that
just
was my second one, Aliens. Yeah.
yeah, there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Aliens dropped that one boot print perfectly, and nothing else. No footprints leading up to it, none moving away from it. 1 foot, 4 feet. I mean, wow.
Well, I mean, when you have a very remote area and people that keep to themselves, because many people have said they didn't even know there was kids there. They knew they had parties. They just thought it was a crack house. I mean, that's what they said. That was their perception of what was going on. And so, but when you have a very remote area and people that really keep to themselves, and suddenly children go missing, usually it's a child, okay? But in this case, 2 children, normally there is foul play involved. And I hate to say that, but normally there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that neighbor, Melissa, I believe her name was. And she flat out said that, you know, she was very judgmental, and whenever they had those not parties, I guess we'll call it, right? There's all these cars in the driveway, and apparently some even on the road, and she's like keeping a close eye on what's going on. And, yeah.
Now, I mean, we had a case in America. I mean, back in the 90s, Susan Smith killed both her children. But there wasn't a third one. So why would, Meadow be okay and Lily and Jack not be? They're not in those woods. And if they are, I would assume it has something to do with the pipeline or the mines or something like that, because that map of all the mines is scary.
Yes.
And didn't he say that she was going through some sort of postpartum?
They've also said that Malaya herself is autistic. So I'm not going to go anywhere with these things that have never been diagnosed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it would make sense. He said that she just turned like wicked cold on him all of a sudden. Couldn't even look at him, or what I think is what he said.
Yeah, but postpartum, if you're talking about postpartum psychosis, and I know this just from a case outside of Houston, and the Lindsay Clancy case, which I don't think she had postpartum at all. It's all the children that are targeted. Andrea Yates is textbook. But I mean, people on Facebook trying to diagnose this woman are crazy. They're like, oh, she's postpartum. And then they go, oh, now mind you, Meadow's 17 months old.
Yeah. And when did Children's Aid step in?
What is that?
When did Children's Aid step in? Oh, you call it something different.
CPS.
Child Protective Services?
Yeah.
Like, when did they step in?
I first heard that about CPS when Daniel went to say he went to visit them at the CPS office. That was the first I heard of it.
Yeah.
Right. When was the child taken? That's my question.
Well, according to Cody's aunt, Meadow is with her mother. Daniel is the one that said that CPS took Meadow, and he showed up to ask to see his daughter, and they said no. Angela said the chief made a statement that the children are not on the reservation.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. They would have come out with a statement as to why, she brought the children there, and they would have done that right away. I don't think it's a big conspiracy.
Well, and what really gets me about the whole CPS thing, it has been rumored that CPS was looking at the family. For what? I don't know. But there are a lot of cases, I can't compare in Canada because I don't know of any in there, that where, authorities start poking around, want to know what's going on, kids go missing.
Yeah, but again, do we know if that rumor is true?
Yeah, we don't. No. let's just stick with the facts. Let's look at what this lady has to say right here. I just think she looks like my daughter-in-law. She's cute as a bug's ear.
Here because the RCMP in Nova Scotia are providing a live update in the ongoing search for two young children, Lilly, Jack Sullivan. They have been missing for most of May, last seen on May the 2nd. The RCMP now asking for the public's help. Any video they may have. Let's listen into some of this now.
Underwater recovery team and several aircraft scoured a heavily wooded 5.5 square kilometer area before search efforts were scaled back on May 7th. Additional searches took place on May 8th, May 9th, May 17th, and May 18th.
Okay. So are they all corrupt? Are they all lazy? She's going back a month talking about everything they've done. They're getting a lot of bullshit. I can tell you that right now.
Any future searches will be determined based on the course of the investigation. RCMP officers from various teams are fully engaged in finding out what happened to Jack and Lilly. We're using all tools and resources to determine the circumstances of their disappearance. I'm going to just repeat that section. RCMP officers from various teams are fully engaged in finding out what happened to Jack and Lilly. We are using all tools and resources to determine the circumstances of their disappearance. Anyone with information on the whereabouts of Jack and Lilly or who has video footage to share with police is asked to call the Northeast Nova Major Crimes Unit. To remain anonymous, you can also contact Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers. Is there anyone here who would like that done in French?
I don't.
I don't.
I got cussed out by a lady from Quebec. Her name was Deb. She cussed me out in French one time, and I'm like, translate, please. Fuck you doing? Anybody want it in French? No. I hit one for English. Okay, I keep it real simple.
All right, so we're just bringing you a little bit of this. This is an RCMP update going on right now in Nova Scotia on the search for two young children, Lilly Sullivan, Jack Sullivan, their siblings. They wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia on May the 2nd. There have been ongoing searches. The kids have not been found. Investigators have been looking through hours of video from the area, trying to figure out where they might be. And they're now asking for the public's help as well, because it has been almost a month now and they still have not found.
Well, it's been a month and they are asking for the public's help. And that tells me that they are truly, 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 truly trying to find these babies.
Definitely.
100%. And I don't know the conversion rate, but I can tell you right now, this search for Lilly and Jack cost a pretty penny.
Yeah.
And that is beside the point, because we're talking about two little kids.
Right. And I just want to remind everybody on the morning that they went missing, it was like 40 degrees out. It was raining off and on. It's freezing. It was freezing. Those kids wouldn't have wanted to be outside very long. That's why I just can't believe that they're in the woods. Like, you know, something could have happened to one of them, and then the other one would have tried to help or screamed. Like Lilly obviously has a vocal cords on her, which is great. But I just can't believe they would have wanted to play outside for like an hour even. So
I didn't see the look that Daniel was giving her when she was doing that, but I was saying the same thing to myself. I was like, "Geez, kid."
Yeah, it just seemed like she was excited about the birthday party. Sometimes people look a little too far into things.
yeah, I mean, she stopped screaming as soon as she was asked to, and that's all it is. That's parenting. You know, you have to let the child know screaming isn't, you know, quiet, we don't scream. And as soon as she was told to stop, she did.
Yeah, we're using our indoor voice, and that's it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Does anybody know if the bio dad was actually cleared? Apparently, he was interrogated for like 2 hours or something like that.
According to his Aunt Daphne, yeah, they spoke to him for like 4 hours. And, people say, well, he lives in a different state, so he can't see his kids that often. I hate those piss poor excuses, but whatever. Supposedly
Well, he was in jail, wasn't he?
Well, actually, they say no. His mom's saying that that's a totally different Cody Sullivan, that he doesn't have any record.
And that's a common last name, Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, this has been a great, great show. And we're going to continue talking about it, keeping up with the updates and everything. Put a 1 in chat if you want to continue talking about Jack and Lilly. Put a 2 in to say, yeah, I think we're not going to deal with this anymore. But if not, we'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. This was a great talk, and I'm going to play the music again because today is CLL's 4th birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right, see you guys back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. Many thanks to you, Suds, for coming up and telling us about your alien theory that cracked the case. Thank you so much to Pat. 2 real Canadians. Not all channels can say that when we're talking about a Canadian case, but I always bring you guys the goods. You're the absolute best. I will see you all tomorrow. Hold on. Roxanne, she said, see y'all tomorrow. Not going too far. Had foot surgery. I'm okay. What happened to your foot, Roxanne? What happened to your foot? Well, I love you all very much, and thank you for 4 great years. I will see you
Brooks.
back here tomorrow.